I would like to call the meeting to order. I would like to propose an agenda change before we begin. If we might move B and C before A. Do people feel okay with that?
Good. Sure. Good idea.
All right. I have not prepared a chair's report because I feel like there's lots of conversation to be had tonight. Any members have anything to speak?
No thanks. Thank you.
Are there citizens wishing to speak? All right, then let's begin with our request from Montessori.
Okay, so I'm Beth Forster, I'm the director, and I've done this a few times now, but what we are asking for is the space again to, have our program. And we were also wondering if it would be a possibility to do like a few weeks in the summer for a camp. We haven't really gone any further than just thinking about it because it is a niche that the community doesn't really have, the 2.9 to 5-year-olds for summer camp. So that is like a kind of a dual ask, but wanted to kind of bring it up now so we could start planning if you were gonna do the camp. That's my ask is that,
Do you have any reaction?
that's it.
I think it's great.
All right, any discussion?
Sounds good to me. I move that we accept, that we agreed to do it. I can't think of the right wording. I move that we accept.
Which, there are
Whatever
two
the word
things.
is.
So we-
Whatever they want. There are two things.
Can't come up with the right word,
There are really two things.
but I'm in favor.
I guess so. I would just say, we look forward to extending our partnership and sort of seeing where this can take us, with you guys in the building and sort of expanding
That's great.
what we do. It might be nice to have.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
in the
that.
summer for some families that are working so hard. Yeah.
If I
Okay.
may. And I love the fact that we are able to offer in this building something
Yeah.
else to the youngest of our
Right.
population.
Yeah.
To have something to do in the summer. And my understanding is that the rec department will basically be off campus for the summer.
Bakersfield.
Yes, so they won't be coming in for inclement weather, so it'll be nice to have kids here,
Yeah.
aside from those who are here for academics.
Yeah, and the only thing I would always do is just check in with Mr. McHugh on when they're gonna do whatever they have to do.
Yeah.
So to
Of course.
plan around those things, yeah.
And, perhaps when you get it a little more organized,
Yeah.
you could just come back and just
For
give us an
sure.
idea of what
Yeah,
will
like
be
the
happening.
time
Yeah,
and
just
what we're
present it when you have
offering, for sure.
a package
Yeah.
worked out.
That's great.
Okay, so I heard a motion. Is this a voting issue?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I did hear a motion from Mort. I did not hear a second.
I second it.
Okay, great. And so all in favor of
Aye.
the Montessori having this space for next year and pursuing summer camp?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, I'm gonna go.
Quick to stand.
Before we
Bye, Beth.
Quick before we change our minds.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
Welcome back.
It's getting to be like old home.
Yeah.
I have an addition to the draft agreement that town council sent to me. And I did ask her to add the language about limiting the space to these parameters. This is a Google Earth shot of your building and your parking lot. And it fairly clearly does not allow them to park down the side of the field, because that's used by people using the field. People will, with a beach sticker, will let their friends park there and then they ferry them to the ponds and the beaches in their own vehicle, which is also fine. That's a common use in the summer.
Right.
But this is the property that is outlined. And there is no language in the agreement. Town council missed that piece when I sent it to her, so she has not sent me the final language, but it would be restricted. I propose it be restricted to this area because over here, on the parking area, where is it? Over here, I'm sorry, the top. The portable toilet would be approximately in the upper left-hand corner of that area, off the pavement or right next to the pavement on a flat. There's some hardened earth there that would be appropriate for the portable toilet.
That's where who have had them before.
Right, exactly, that's why it's a good place. So that is my new information for you, and you indicated you had questions about the 10% of the buses.
Yes, the part-time.
Well, you know, if you're uncomfortable having them here at all, we just won't accommodate them. If we can accommodate the greater majority here, the rest of them can make arrangements with Cove Corners or other places in town. I'd like to make this first summer a successful program, and then if we want to get really generous and add people later in a subsequent summer, that makes total sense, but I'd like to, selfishly, I need direction today that I can go forward and talk to the bus companies and I can notify people who need to be notified and order the signs and all that stuff, because we have basically March and April and then it's summer.
Right.
So I would need some kind of direction today, one way or the other. So I'm appealing to you today.
There are chairs if you want.
I'm here.
And here,
Shall I pull my chair up? It's probably a little
Sure.
more reasonable. Okay.
All right, Jan, I see your hand.
Yes, I think, Suzanne, that comment that you made about starting off a little conservatively, perhaps, with what we can know for sure would reassure us a great deal. And I would be very much in favor of the two bus companies who have filled out a contract and have a good understanding. Last meeting, we talked about the fact that these odd buses that might come in, which we put under the category of 10% of the buses, made us a little bit concerned. It probably would be fine, but again, because it's the first year, we would feel more comfortable, I believe, I'm speaking for us, if we just had the two big bus companies come.
Anyone else want to weigh in? Martha?
I do. As I read this over this morning, I found a couple of questions that I have, Suzanne, and also thank you for putting all this work into it.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's very, very thorough and helpful. The under number 1 license, where it says including members of the public to use the parking spaces, I'm not sure what's meant by that.
I think that's in reference to the line that I was confused by that. I wanted to come to this meeting before I talked to town council and have all the questions in a row. And as I emphasized, this is a draft. And she said, let me know what they think. So that was my last communication with her. And it costs money to talk to her, so I try to gather all my stuff together.
That's right.
Well, I just wondered because you said something earlier and people were coming in, so I get distracted. But I wondered about something you said earlier, just a few minutes ago, about people dropping people off.
Those are public parking spaces
Yeah.
over,
Okay.
and if people are legally parked there and it's a registered vehicle, we have no control over
Okay.
that. But I'm saying that's mostly what those are used for. People park and then somehow either they take a Cape Cab to the beach or something, but they're legally parked vehicles.
they park there and walk to Long Pond. I see.
Right,
Too,
and some
as
of them who
well.
wanna go to the Coma will park there and call an Uber and they get Ubered from there.
Yeah.
So, but they're all legally parked cars, so we have
Understood.
no
Okay.
way of knowing who it is or why it is.
And then again, on that same page, the last sentence under number 2, licensee may park or allow others to park. That also was some.
Well, I think that refers to their
Employees.
employees. I had that question too, Martha, but I am gonna check it with town council.
Oh, good, thanks, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
My questions have been resolved.
Okay, great. Anybody, Mary Beth?
How about Tom?
So I'm speaking for the board, I think, a little bit here in terms of what legal issues are we still waiting to hear some rendering from your attorney?
We're waiting for the language that includes the geographic parameters of where people can park. And then those 2 questions that Martha had. And I had a question about the signature page, which I removed from the copy I sent Betsy because she was convoluted in who was supposed to sign it, so I just took it out. She put the Board of Selectmen, which wasn't very helpful. So that's fine. I'll get an amended signature page. Those are the only 3 things. The clarification on those 2 phrases about and allow others to permit others to park, and also remind me of the first one, Martha.
Martha,
Including members of the public.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll get those 2 things clarified.
So my only point, I'm not trying to make this difficult, just you'll get the answers to these for us, so we know.
Then I'll send Betsy
Beautiful.
the final draft.
Great.
Once it's been approved by the committee, I'm also gonna send the final draft to the 2 bus companies. So they might wanna have their counsel look at them as well, from their point of view. And then
Okay.
we'll be able to go
Yes.
forward. Because as much as I like coming to your meetings, I think somebody else needs a turn.
So, yeah, Jan?
Well, I'm just trying to facilitate this for Suzanne, since we still have a few questions, and you said you need indication today. How will will there be a contingency, or if we're satisfied with what we hear from the attorneys and the new draft, that then we will approve this, or how can we do it for you?
Can't do it outside of a meeting, Jan.
Right,
So it would be the next meeting, I would hope to have sent the draft, the completed draft, not only to your people, but to the 2 bus companies, and gotten everybody's input and have a final draft for signature at the next meeting.
And
I
that
will,
will
and then the
suit
bus
you?
companies will be on notice of how it's gonna work,
right.
as,
Okay.
fairly quickly,
Yeah.
and that's what I'd
That's
like to
fine.
do. And then once that happens, then I can order signs and,
That'd be fine.
details.
Okay, so it
Wonderful.
seems like we're ready
Thank
to,
you.
And you're welcome. And
Thank
I
you.
hope you all have great field trips out of this.
yes.
Oh,
Well, I was just saying that I was
10,000.
thinking, I was thinking that field trips are the first things cut. The fluffy stuff is goes first, so it'd be nice to have a little pool of money.
Except for our PTA,
PTA
which
gives
is
us 10,000.
miracle workers.
We will definitely find uses for this money,
Really?
very
You think so?
responsible uses. But we do also, we are really looking for this school to be part of the community. And so
And I
this is
appreciate that.
one way that I think we can work with the town in a different way that is, we've got the rec going on, now we're just trying to really be sort of open-minded to how we
And I do appreciate
forward.
that, especially the people who are very concerned with, what are you doing with the buses? What do you tell the buses? I'll now have a concrete, specific answer to allay their concerns, and that will be good for them and good for me as well.
Great. So thank you. So as soon as I get the forward, I'll forward it to
Yeah.
everybody.
Thank you very
so
much.
much, Suzanne.
Thanks, Suzanne.
Okay, and now we are on to priority business with Mary Beth's report.
Sorry, I was talking. My report next. The only addition I believe that I have is in school events. The wellness committee meeting was set after I had sent this yesterday. So that's going to be March 3rd here in this room at 2 p.m. Any questions?
Have we moved up a student? Do we have one more than we did last time?
We have a new student in
Yeah.
grade 1.
Yeah.
And we also lost a student that was tuitioned in here.
Oh.
So it kept us at the same number.
Oh, okay. One in, one out.
Correct.
I was happy to see community read aloud program.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it doesn't fit my schedule this year.
As I said to Jan, you're welcome anytime.
Okay, thanks. Any other comments, questions about Mary Beth's report?
No.
Okay, let's move on to Tom's.
So thank you very much, and I'm going to start off with something a little bit different. We do a lot of work with our fantastic TV station, and I've asked Teresa to come in. She's the director of that program, and I'm asking her to go into all of our boards to just give us an update and a little bit about what's happening. We think it's an outstanding opportunity to reach out to our community, and we have some big plans going forward. So,
Great.
Teresa, come on up.
This is Hannah Morse, who is with me.
Hi, Hannah.
Hannah is a Wellfleet native. Some of you might know her, and a
We do.
Nauset graduate. And she's come back to the Cape after college and is working as part of our team at Lower Cape Community Access TV. I'm the executive director there. We're a 501c3 nonprofit media organization serving our Lower Cape communities in a number of ways. I'm going to pass some of these around.
Thank you.
This is something that we're doing that is kind of neat and new. 22, of course, is not new. We run 2 stations, 99, which is a community station, and 22, which is the education station. This is a little description of what 22 is. On the back is the pretty cool what's new component. From any web browser now, from anywhere, you can watch Channel 22. You can watch these meetings, which are being recorded here, on demand from 22. So if a member of the community or somebody who maybe has kids in his school, I mentioned someone with their choice, if they don't get the local 22, they can go onto their computer from wherever and they can watch these meetings. I'm here today because I wanted to make you all aware that this is happening, to let you know that we have a whole bunch of opportunities for interconnections with the community, and I would love to invite you in to be part of it. Everything from, we do a quarterly PSA day, so we help mission-driven organizations, including PTAs and school groups and schools, create and deliver a message to the community. It runs on our stations, it runs through our mobile app, on and online, and you all can also use it in your own social media and website. So you walk away with a short little piece of communication that you can use across all of your channels as well. And it is free, completely free.
Nice.
Our next one is coming up on February 20th, Thursday. And all you need to do is let us know you're interested and what time you'll be there. We just ask people to sign up for a time slot just to help coordinate. And it's a really simple thing to do. You say a couple of sentences on camera. We ask you to write a couple sentences of what you want to say. It'll be on a teleprompter for it. You don't need to memorize anything. And then we use B-roll, which is photos or video. Things people might have taken on their cell phone, a picture of the school, a picture of the spaghetti supper, whatever. And we put that in over it. So it isn't just your little happy face talking, it actually has other visuals going on. So don't be afraid of being on the camera, because you don't have to see your face the whole time. I know some people are really nervous, and I would encourage you all to do that. We do it, like I said, once a quarter in a structured way, but if you let us know you want to come in and do something, we can usually arrange around a schedule as well. We just find if you have a scheduled day, it helps you schedule
Plan for
to
it.
come in and
Focus.
plan for it.
Yeah.
So I would encourage you and all of your school organizations to do that. We also run content from schools, and I am hoping to encourage Wellfleet Elementary to do some fun things. In one of the Brewster schools, they do something called Kid News 22. Now, if you've seen it, it's 5th graders doing news about their school. It is lovely. It's an after-school activity, and it's just charming and delightful, and you can see it on Channel 22. Which, like I said, you can watch it on 22, or you can just simply go on to ch22.org and watch it on demand. You can see the school committee meetings on demand. You can see, we do education reporting as well as part of Lower Cape News, so you can see all the education reporting. You can see Superintendent Spotlight.
It's quite a show.
Right on it.
That's right.
No, it's not.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you can see Kid News. You can see a lot of different things on there, and I would encourage you to have your kids get engaged. You know, kids have a voice. It's a beautiful thing. I want to introduce Hannah because she does the programming on Channel 22, and she also runs our Youth Ambassador program, which is kind of a neat thing. Do you want to introduce yourself and talk a little bit?
So I'm Hannah Morse. I went to Wes recently, and so we just started a new program with a lovely young woman named Margaret Dixon. She's going to be our youth ambassador. So what that kind of means is, since we're adults and whatnot, we don't really have much of like a tapped-in environment to kids and their daily life and whatnot. But since Margaret is still in high school, she has access to kind of that spotlight we'd like to see a little bit more of. Recently she filmed like an all Cape concert. She did a little like vlog on that. So it's just kind of exciting to see like their world a little bit, and I'd like to see more from the elementary school and middle school kids. And
I'm volunteering Hannah, so like actually if you have, you have some staff or some teachers who want to learn how to do this with the kids, I am volunteering Hannah's time to work with you. Just let us know.
Absolutely.
And I'm very serious. I think it's giving kids voices is just a wonderful thing.
So Teresa, just to make sure I understand it, so if Mary Beth wants, she has a program here at her school, it's a matter of her calling you to possibly have this happen, or?
Yeah, so like if you have, you have a somebody who wants to be doing a program like a kids are doing, we can come, we can teach you how to use the stuff, we can kind of walk you through what has happened in Brewster, for example, and help enable you to do it. We can't run the program for you, don't have resources, would love to. If you know who wants to write a grant, we'd be happy to do that. Because we're a nonprofit and we don't, we're very slimly staffed. But we will make time available to come to the school and teach. Like I said, teachers, staff, whoever wants to come and engage. Truro has done this as well. We actually went down a couple of years ago and spent time with a group of about 6 people there. And so they've been doing some things inside their school as well.
How long would it take to sort of train somebody how to do it? Would you need like an hour?
Yeah, maybe I would say sort of an initial hour to 90 minutes, and then maybe a second one because people take things, try it, and then they have questions. And we also do more structured classes at the studio. We typically do 3 Saturdays. We did Saturdays the last time, like 3 2-hour blocks and 3 Saturdays. It's about a 6-hour class. We do that through Nauset Community Education.
Thank you.
I can recommend Hannah. I've known her for years, and she's very capable of many things, and working with kids for sure.
Thank you, Martha.
That biography thing that you do where the
That would
kids
be a great
dress
one.
up in
Sure.
our characters,
Yeah.
that would be a very natural
There's just so
thing to
many.
do.
And the
for
tour
kids.
around DC.
I'm on the program this year, I'm sorry.
Oh, too bad.
But the community loves to see the schools in action too.
Yes.
And I know every school. I'll just address this kind of people worry about it. There's always some kids who can't be on camera, but when I work with schools, I always get that list from the principal in advance, and we just make sure that that child is not in the shot.
Thank you.
So as long as, and a lot of schools deal with that. I've done stuff in another life with DUI, and I would say probably half of some classes are on that list. It's really scary. But we've always been able to work around that, as long as you communicate it in advance.
So Teresa, if I just go home to my television, I have Xfinity, and I put 22 in my,
Yes.
I'm going to get this channel?
Yes, you are.
Well, why don't I get it now as I go
Well, you
through
do get it on your TV now. It's
What?
22, not 822, just 22.
Just plain 22.
Comcast does not give us high definition on TV.
Okay.
Thank you, Comcast.
Okay, so no 8, I just
Yeah,
can't
just,
run it.
Yeah,
in one
Just
time.
regular
Okay.
22.
That's the secret.
Yep, and if you're on ch22online.org, you actually get it in beautiful high def because we're not going through Comcast.
Okay.
We record everything in high def, but Comcast puts parameters on community programming. Unfortunately. We like to rattle their cages and change that, but, it is what it is. I'm going to pass around my cards too. Do you have your cards?
Yeah.
I'll send a few around so you've got all of our contact information. And if you would like, I am happy, we're going to have these, actually more of these printed. Mary Beth?
Pardon?
I'm going to get more of these printed. I can bring a stack over to the
this
school
is-
if you
That
think
would be
parents would
awesome.
like
That's
it.
Teresa,
Sure.
this
Okay.
is Hannah.
Definitely.
Great. Then you can send a backpack at home or whatever, so
Yes,
everybody,
every Thursday we do backpacks, so I'd be
Yeah.
happy to send it.
so then they'll know, every parent can know, and they can pass it on to, you might have grandparents who don't live around here who want to see things in action.
Those are very attractive cards.
Thank you.
Teresa, may I ask a question? For our, say, spring concert, is that something that could be filmed and then on the channel, or is that too long of a span of
We
time?
could definitely run it. What would happen is typically what does, we're not a service bureau, so we can't go out and do things.
So somebody here would do
Somebody here would
that.
show you how to set it up, they push the start button, they push the end button, they give it to us, and we would put it on the channel.
Great, thank you.
And it's really easy to do, so people shouldn't be intimidated. It's something like a concert, if you know where it's gonna be, we can help you set it up.
Sure,
And really, anybody could learn to do it and be okay with it.
thank you.
And shoots video, it's easy, right?
You could do it?
I'm not volunteering her, but I'm saying she learned.
You're hired.
She just picked it up and learned, and she's not a video person by background, and it wasn't scary.
It's your resume. Thank you.
It's doable.
It's very doable. Great,
So thank you.
thanks. Any other questions? I also invite you, if you're in, right now our studios are currently, we lease space from the high school, and if you're in the area, come on down and check out the studio and say hi. We love having people come by, so.
May I bother you for a couple more of these? 'Cause
There's
I
a
have
whole bunch
PTA.
here.
Right here.
Oh, I didn't see those things. I have PTA tonight, so I'd like to share them there.
Here you go.
Thank you.
And you might want
Good
these
card.
cards,
Two.
extra
Okay,
cards.
thank you.
So thank you.
That's awesome.
One of the last pieces, Betsy, if you mind, is we've been working together on going live. And we would be able to produce shows, particularly around all kinds of topics that we think are important for parents. Because we've been averaging on a program at the middle school, 30 to 40 parents across the district. And so Teresa's been fantastic about working with us to get us that capability of using Parent Square. This Wednesday evening, we're going to be coming into your living room with a half-hour show on keeping your kids safe with technology. And we encourage you to get some popcorn and get homework done. And so we're coming into the homes, and we think will help in terms of the participation with these sort of programs. And she's been fantastic to
There's
help us
actually a
with that.
couple ways, we can actually literally do it live from the studio. We also, if we know, I'll use the concert for example, if you know, I really want this to run at 7:00 on Thursday night after the fact, talk to Hannah, and we will make sure it's scheduled at that time, and you can tell people it will be on the next 2 Thursdays at 7:00.
Wonderful.
So we can work with you that way as well.
Wonderful.
So, thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
you.
much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And busy parents don't then have to come out at night.
Yeah, that's the problem. It really is. And,
So that's a
they've
great
worked all
way to
day, they
communicate,
got dinner
yeah.
for the kids.
And the grandparents,
Oh.
we have people that
good.
are from California, and families out there, and
Right.
Yeah.
great
If
opportunity.
you have multiple siblings, it's hard to get off on a babysitter.
Right,
Mm.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Don't be
coming out on
strangers.
this lovely afternoon.
Promise.
Is that the end of your report?
No, I have one more thing. I want the board to know that Mort's doing a great job on the negotiations. We have been meeting a number of Saturday mornings for our meetings, and Lee is obviously going to be at the table with us as well, and we're going to try and do some Saturdays this year, and we find that it's much better in terms of everybody's fresh in the morning.
Right.
As long as we stay to schedule, we get a lot of work done, so we're off to a great start, and we had a great meeting last night. So, thank you to Mort's, he's been on this many times, and he's got a lot of expertise, so, thank you.
Tom, I have a question. I'd like you to tell us a little bit about those men in Brewster, the issues they're raising about the high school and the
Yeah.
school choice.
Yeah, so.
I'm
so-
interested in how we respond to that.
Yeah, so a couple of things. You're going to see, I mean, I work on this every day at some level, but really the bottom line is that the high school project is boiling down to its final weeks. And it is safe to say, I could talk for hours on this subject, but I'll keep it very brief, that the project that we're looking for in our planning for the future is going to come in around $93 to $95 million. The reason I can't give you the exact numbers, we're going to find out Thursday. And that's what we've been working on in terms of, that's 2 buildings being torn down and replaced, and then renovation of the entire campus with improvements to security and really programming for us. The second option that we'll be talking about is now rolling out, because of the questions that we have, is quite honestly, what happens if we do nothing? And we vote against this project. So the first piece is that if that were to happen, we're not in the program any longer with the MSBA. And we would have to get back in line to wait our turn to be chosen right from the very beginning again. Now, this is my own personal opinion, but I think many would agree with me, is that we were chosen in the second year because we had need. And they reached out to offer us somewhere around $40 million to make this happen, and we said no. That I think we would be waiting a long time before we were invited back in the program. And quite honestly, in our cohort, there were 80 districts who were looking for building projects, and we were one of 14. And the other piece to be worried about is the projects are getting more expensive, and
Sure.
the funding mechanism doesn't change for the MSBA in terms of the money it has to spend, so fewer projects are being chosen. And so that's really problematic, and so that's a factor in this whole thing. The other piece of it is, along with that, you've heard some discussions about why don't we just build a smaller school. That would be part B of this conversation. And likewise, you're out of the program, and you have to go through everything that I have said.
From the beginning.
And when you add on the fact that construction costs are going up somewhere between 4.5 to 5% a year, and you're more than likely going to wait 6 to 8 years before you can get this started again, you can see the additional cost relative to the building. And then the third piece is, why don't we just fix the building ourselves? We'll just fix it. And the problem is that at a sum of $500,000, if the boiler were to go and it's $5,000, it'd be millions to fix that heating system there. It triggers in bringing up the entire campus up to code across the whole campus.
Willies.
And we're anticipating a cost somewhere between $90 to $95 million for this project. So you can see all of these options are quite similar to building the project that we have planned for in terms of the renovation and new buildings that we would add to this complex. And the last piece I would say is we've had about 250 people, I believe, take tours, and that's a great number for us. And not one single person that we've run into or asked has said anything other than we have to do something. It's no one is saying you got a Cadillac and what are you doing here? So those are the options, and around school choice.
Yeah,
I mean that's an interesting subject,
Right.
and
Right.
remember some of our presentations are 2 to 3 hours in length. So I'm giving you the short version. But the bottom line with school choice is that two things. We recognize that every high school on Cape Cod has choice, and we want to keep as many of our students home as we can.
Right.
Because when a student, and this has been kind of a confusing thing for some people, our kids, we have no right to hold our kids back in terms of their decision if they chose to go to another school district for school choice or a charter school. Interesting enough that when we were involved with the numbers of kids going to Sturgis, over the last few years, our number has dropped from 24 students. Next year it will be 12. That's a savings well over $300,000 that we're bringing home by keeping our kids on campus, right? The issue, of course, is that we have been very successful with school choice, and it is a very desirable school, and that is a good thing. And people see value in coming there for the academics that we have at our school. The issue is that the money that we bring in under choice at Nauset Regional High School is 1 $1.2 million. And when we begin to look at what $1.2 million can do, is it clearly is paying for a substantial number of teachers from that, as well as some of the programs.
Yeah.
So that money goes to work in terms of paying for different needs of these students coming in. As you know, in school choice, as you've touched the water here this past year, when you accepted 2 students, you didn't add a teacher. You didn't add new
We didn't need
furniture.
to.
You didn't add new textbooks.
No.
That money, because you could put a couple more kids in a class that could handle 2 students, basically was a windfall of that $10,000. At some level, even in our program where we take in so many students, there is a windfall like that as well. But obviously at some number, we're using some of that $1.2 million to offset the cost. And that's where it's at. I will tell you, and we want to tell the story and make it an accurate piece. The one piece that doesn't happen with the choice money, because we're using it for academic reasons, is it doesn't offset the debt that the towns are taking for their buildings. And that's true. And but I can tell you that in our conversations with Truro and Provincetown, one of the issues is that they would have to pick up some of the debt on the construction and the buildings. And that's somewhat prohibitive for them to consider, because they don't want to pick up that tab. So that's the straight answer to what's happening, and it's a short version, but we're very optimistic. We're getting a lot of excellent feedback from some boards on this project going forward. And as long as we can continue to move forward with what the project is going to be, and we have town forums coming, each of the 4 towns will see a 3D model, and we're going to push hard that they get out to see what this will be, as well as sketches and photos of this new project. And we're pretty optimistic, and at this point that we're going to be in good shape because of the need of this project.
But when we send a student to Sturgis, we pay the full tuition.
That's right. It's $20 some odd thousand
But when
dollars.
we receive a student, it's only $500.
So,
5,000.
5,000 is yours.
right, so in the choice program, it's about $5,500 because we get some extra money for special ed situations. We would agree, anytime the state wants to change that and increase
Make
that
it
number,
more
we'll take
realistic.
it. But obviously, there are some political pieces to this puzzle, and I always, when I came down from Maine to take this job and began to understand some of the issues, I just wondered why is Boston and Fall River and Springfield going to worry about Cape Cod or their choice dollars in terms of their needs? And so Sarah and Tim and Julian are great supporters of our program, but there are 3 votes in terms of that issue.
So is this a state law that
State sets that.
the state set this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So that's kind of the quick version.
Tom, also one of those, it's a quick version, but one of the things that I think is also very important about the school choice part, which is a lot of what these people seem to be objecting to in Brewster, is that it allows things to be offered at the high school
That's right.
that in a smaller
Right.
environment you couldn't offer our kids.
So you're exactly right.
You know, to me, that's just for educational purposes, it's necessary.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's happening in our high schools across the Cape is in order to have a robust program,
Right.
you need X amount of students.
Yes,
And in this case, for instance,
language.
we're very proud that we were able to expand from the outstanding AP program we have to International Baccalaureate.
Right,
And I'm pleased to tell you, I just spoke with an English teacher, just one of our teachers in the program, who will have over 40 students in
Wow.
a couple of classes for IB next year. And so it's growing, and
Yes.
you're exactly right. And it's across the entire program to having chorus and to having drama programs.
everything that we can offer.
Exactly. So, and our students benefit from the opportunity to have those classes.
Right.
And I did some research on the number of sections that would be touched if we were to step away from school choice, and over 80 sections of our program would go away. And we've been talking about if we did away with school choice, we would lay off at least 25 teachers. And I would predict that all of our arts, applied and fine art teachers would end up being part-time teachers for us. So you can see that there's high stakes at this in terms of our kids in this question as well.
Right.
And I think the final thing that I hear everywhere I go is, if not great schools in terms of having a chance of attracting young families, what? Bad schools? And so we're very appreciative of the communities giving us in all of our schools the opportunities that we have, and we want to continue that for the future.
Are there any Brewster people who are avid supporters of all
Oh,
of it?
absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. We have a great following of people. We now have parent groups in all 4 of our schools, elementary schools, who are now starting to work the social media piece. And our elementary, I mean, I'm in the elementary schools all the time, and now the teachers are sometimes saying, this is who I am, and he's working on the new high school, and because our elementary kids are the first groups going into
Gotta
this.
have that high school.
I mean, our kids are walking right into the project, so we're very excited for that, and we think it's going to be a fantastic facility for up to 50 years for the future of learning of kids. So, thank you for asking.
All right. Next up is to approve the homeless student policy for a second read.
I just had one question about it. About, I can't find it. Yeah, no, I have it, but one line about travel. Oh, here it is. Entitled to transportation comparable to that provided for all. How will we do that?
So we do now more. So if a student is homeless and in a facility that isn't even in our district,
Yeah.
because we have such limited possibilities, it could be a multiple ways of getting them. They might be getting on a bus that we travel into that area and we would be picking them up. Or we would arrange, maybe through our special education program buses, to pick them up. Or we would provide transportation to get them to school each and every day.
And we talked about the winter rental last time.
Yeah.
I move that we approve it.
I second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Good writing, Betsy.
Took me all night.
Yeah. Cute.
Okay, we have 3 more policies. So educational opportunities for military children, JFABE.
What's that?
This is to approve for a first read.
Military
The
kids.
military.
Someday I'd like to know how these are coded for the fathers, but not now.
Are these essentially from the state, as
Yeah,
is?
From your association. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I move that we pass
Approve for a first reading.
educational opportunities for military children.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And educational opportunities for children in foster care.
Is this the first one?
This is a first read as
First
well.
reading.
I had a question. In some places, the language was that there would be a designated point of contact for students in foster care. In other places, they use the term district liaison, and I wondered if that is the same person. That's all.
Where are you in that?
I'm on paragraph 3,
Okay,
and paragraph 4, and then
yeah, I see.
also in the back. I wondered if that's the same person and if we have someone in the district who does that.
Guessing it would be Anne.
And I believe.
Yeah.
Is it in? Yeah. And that's, I'm just confused by the language. Is it the same person?
I don't know that I can answer that.
What's that?
May I, Mary Beth, could you just tell me where the second one is, not the?
Oh, I'm sorry.
The-
It's on the back, under immediate enrollment, second paragraph, third line. They use the term district liaison instead of point of contact.
I think the district liaison would be the building principal or the person that could possibly be your school adjustment counselor
Uh-huh.
or school psych.
Yeah.
As opposed to the person who is the district designated person would be Dr. Coretti.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Do you need special training, Mary Beth, to be able to do this kind of thing with foster children, or?
No, I mean, you just follow the regulations
The
of the state.
regulations,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, the paperwork is pretty good through DCF.
Yes.
In terms of,
Okay, that's
who
good.
is the LEA and who's responsible. And then, we've been through the coordinated program review so many times, we know what our responsibilities are.
Okay. To me, it's daunting and it's so
It really
sad
is.
to
It's
think
sad,
about.
but it
Yeah,
really
it's
isn't.
sad.
It's not as daunting as you would think. I think there's a
Okay.
lot of wording for
Right.
something that you just do.
You just do it
naturally,
automatically
yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
the right thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, I move that we approve on first reading the educational opportunities for children in foster care.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Last one is the educational equity.
And I'm sorry, see what happens when I do my homework. I have another question, and it's on item 3. It seemed ambiguous to me. The sentence reads, graduate all students ready to succeed in a diverse local, national, and global community. Does that mean all students who are ready to succeed will be graduated, or do we want to graduate all students so that they are ready to succeed?
Graduate all students ready to succeed.
Who
That
are
means
ready.
the school
Okay.
does the job of
Gotcha.
Preparing.
preparation.
All right.
We've been working on that with the new
Strategic plan.
strategic plan.
Yes, we have.
I move that we approve that one.
Did you have anything else, Martha?
No, I just don't
Okay.
like the way that reads.
Yeah,
Okay.
But
All it needs is who are, and right before it. Who are ready.
No, that isn't what it means, though.
It
Yes,
doesn't
it
mean
is.
that?
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
it is. Graduate all students who are ready to succeed.
Well, no, it's more like a mandate that we're committing to graduate all students ready to
Well,
succeed.
that's
Right.
And
all
it
students
doesn't
who are
say.
ready.
So it needs to be.
So we won't
clear.
graduate students who are not ready.
That's right.
No, I
No.
can rewrite
No,
it.
it doesn't mean that.
No, I get it.
No, it just means who are ready.
Just make
Okay,
sure
do I have a
everybody's ready.
I move that we approve it.
Should say, make sure all
I'm gonna second
students are ready to succeed.
I'd like you to rewrite that.
Yeah, I would too.
Clearly this confusing.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second, so we need to have discussion then. Is that correct? Okay. How would you like to rewrite it? Graduate all students ready to succeed in a diverse local, national, and global community.
Ensure that all students, all graduating students are ready to succeed.
Great.
Hold on a second. Don't forget about the beginning sentence there. To achieve educational equity, the district will commit to.
Ensure.
They will commit to graduate.
No, they
No.
will commit to ensure that all graduates are ready to succeed in a diverse local, national and global community.
Thank you.
Okay, so then this has to go back to the committee. Okay, so there'll be no vote tonight. Do you have the notes, Ann?
You have it, Ian?
I withdraw my motion.
Okay. Not voted. All right, we have the FY20 budget review.
Thank you. Let's go directly to page 8 of the report.
And there's no minus sign anymore.
Yay! You worked on magic.
I live for that.
Okay, so the prior month balance, we had a positive $19,097. We were able to put back into the budget $6,426, leaving a balance of $25,523. Abby and Rhonda went back and looked at the utility line items, and they were able to put back $10,000 in the electrical. So when I reviewed the significant items that have changed since last month's reporting, that's one of them. Okay, and we still have to reclassify expenses to the tuition from the Eastham student. We also have money that we had planned on using from building use. So those two items total $16,848. We have notified the state that we will be applying for extraordinary relief. Alan has been notified. Training is forthcoming next month, and we're looking at potentially receiving about $37,523 of extraordinary relief. Again, that is all subject to the pool of money available and the number of districts that apply, but historically what we've applied for, we received, so I'm hopeful. And then we also have money in school choice revolving that we could tap into in fiscal 20 of $10,000. So let's go and look at the items of significant change since last month's reporting, starting with page 2 at the top of the page. Line item 4018, the substitute long-term. This is due to 2 long-term teacher absences, so we've had to get coverage for them. And so since last month's reporting, we spent or encumbered $3,165.
Are they reaching an end or?
One just went out on maternity, one's coming back. One's coming back after February vacation,
Okay.
and the other just went out.
Just left, boy.
How nice for their families.
All right, moving on to page 6. Just want to bring your attention to line item 4060, the fuel oil. We've encumbered the full amount, and just recently, Paul McHugh was filled up the tank, and we spent $10,868, so we're left with $35,319. This was the first fill-up since July 1st. So we're hopeful that there'll be additional savings in this line item as well. Okay, it's been very warm, so we haven't
Yeah.
used as
Right.
much, and we keep our fingers crossed that it's gonna continue. Further down, line item 4062, the electricity. Here, Abby and Rhonda were able to look at what we spent year to date and then project it out for the remainder of the year. And they were able to unencumber $10,000, so it's a positive $10,000 that goes back into the bottom line. And that's all I have to report.
Apropos this discussion, Mary Beth, do we know anything more about the attending costs on the homeschooling situation? Last time, we
Yes.
didn't have any idea.
The homeschooling situation is going to begin after February vacation. Is that what you're asking?
And are we responsible for the costs?
No.
No, thank you. That
How
makes
come?
a big
What
difference.
We are responsible for the services under special education in terms of speech language,
Right.
OT and PT.
Right. But
That's
not
it.
day in, day out, every. Thank you. Thanks, Giovanna, as always.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the capital budget playground. Do you want to start, or do you want me to?
You may start.
So we wanted to revisit, and discuss alternatives to perhaps just a structure that had a quote of $250,000. I know one idea that was floating around is having a forum to have input from parents and all stakeholders, just to get ideas. Jill did email me a bunch of ideas, but I just told her I would save them for the forum. And did you say you had a flyer?
It's right up there.
Oh, there it is. So Thursday, March 5th?
I'll bring it over for you.
Yeah, I'll get it.
I did email it to all the committee members.
Right.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we got it.
I saw it.
Very
cute.
Isn't that
Very
cute?
colorful.
I'm trying to channel Sky Fry Cole in order to have something similar to her visioning, just on a smaller scale.
Okay.
The Council on Aging is going to loan us 9 of their roundtables so that we can go into breakout groups and that type of thing. And I'll be making sure that anyone who isn't able to participate has an opportunity to respond and give us their ideas and thoughts, as well as surveying kids. Our youngest kids, of course, we would have them draw what they would like to see on the playground. And of course, looking into grants, et cetera. So it's at such the early stages that I just want to make sure. I reached out to the other elementary schools who have newer playgrounds. But they kind of went a different avenue in getting an architect, et cetera, and going with a particular company right from the get-go. So this is more of a brainstorming opportunity to what can we do that's interesting and unique and is extending the learning and the social play out onto the outdoor environment. And again, Jill had sent me her suggestions, which were very great relative to a natural play environment and reaching out to those builders that are local that might be able to help to do more of a community build. So I think the sky is the limit, and that's what I tried to convey in that.
The sky is the limit.
In terms of
A
what's,
$250,000 sounds like it's pretty high already.
I mean, in terms of what we wanted to
I know that.
look like. Do we want it to be completely natural? A lot of what I've looked at, a lot of the natural playgrounds are really geared towards early childhood, so it might have to be a combo of things. Like I had said at the last meeting, our special needs department, our OT and PT, they really need to give us input of what types of equipment needs to be out there and available to kids for proprioceptive learning. And that's why I think, there's just so much out there to investigate and to see what feels right for this community.
And I'm wondering if we might invite our Montessori
Oh,
school
absolutely.
friends to
Absolutely.
participate. That would be great because we could come together
Yes.
and get support from their community as well.
And the, sort of that blurb at the bottom, that's what will be going into the local newspapers to see if we can get other community members coming. I'll send it over to town hall, and you could put it in window fronts, that type of thing.
Who's going to go read it on 22?
Yeah.
22.
Right.
Public service
Yes,
announcement
exactly.
on
Exactly.
February 20th.
Tom, is there any value in seeing how that playground in Orleans was built? I know parents, I mean, it's out of date by now in terms of exact playground stuff. But they did it with a lot of parental help,
Oh, yeah, sure.
Correct.
I think, and to see how that went, how they did that.
And Laura Hanson, my secretary, she was the principal secretary there during that time.
So
she's been a
she
wealth
could
of
help.
knowledge.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
I think from the very beginning, as you begin the forum discussion, making sure that people understand we're going to be looking for lots of volunteers.
Right.
Right from the beginning. Likewise with the Montessori people, we would
Right.
love to have you join us as we do some work And so I think planting that seed right from the very beginning, that we want a hands-on project that we can be proud of, so.
And
Right.
also the after-school program people we have to think about too,
Yeah.
because they really heavily use it, so,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
I think this is a great direction to go in.
Mm.
I love the forum concepts and
Yeah.
inviting anybody and everybody to feel like
Come.
they can contribute is good.
I'm excited. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a new endeavor. I've never done this before,
Mm.
so.
Creative for you.
It's way more fun than a new roof or.
A boiler. Oh. Yeah.
All right. Any other comments, questions about that? Okay, we're on to reports and information. So we'll be not hearing from the Cape Cod Collaborative at this point. Preschool enrollment, is that information in there?
Yep.
Anybody have questions? Okay. PTA meets this evening,
6 o'clock.
okay. Strategic Plan Committee,
Yes, we are working sometimes 2 meetings a day, trying to get everything put together.
how did you like that professional development working plan, huh?
Oh, my gosh.
That was
yes.
pretty nice, wasn't it?
Yours.
Not mine. There was a committee of us that worked very hard on it.
Um,
We were proud of it.
We have been revising as recently as yesterday. We're continuing to revise, and we're at the point now where we are working on the indicators, the measurable indicators. And if you remember, this is just a sample, but we have for each goal under each objective, we have initiatives, things that people are going to be doing, and then indicators. And that's what we're working on right now. We also are hoping to finish the entire chart for every initiative by March.
That's our goal.
Okay, it's our goal. So we are, those of us on the strategic plan committee are working either in pairs or alone on the different goals. So I'll be working on the community schools goal and trying to come up with as many indicators as I can sometime between now and a week from now. And then we move on to the other parts of that chart, which will be responsibility, who's in charge of doing it. Like in this school, I think it'll be Lee. Yeah, and the resources and the timeline, you know, when they'll be done. And hopefully that will all be finished by March.
Great.
Gee, only 18 more days.
I know.
I thought that was a very good presentation at the joint.
Till Christmas.
Yeah, I was sorry to miss
Went
that.
very well, yeah.
And then,
You're up next
Oh, I
for a
have-
substance abuse mental health task.
if anyone would like to help me with, anybody who was on the community schools workshop, I can come over to the school or anywhere to meet with you if anybody wants to work on the indicators with me, because I am all alone.
I'd be happy to.
Okay, we'll talk. She's.
Drop by my
She
house.
is not.
Okay.
All right, do you have an update for us on the substance abuse mental health task force?
Yeah, we met the end of January, and we actually went over our mission and our vision for, and we realized we've been meeting for 5 years, and that we have actually completed the first, I can't find it now, I have it, the first 5 things on our list that the administrative team had put together. And we're working on the next few as we speak. So I could find the list and I could tell you what we were working on. We have way too much paper. Anyway, we are right on schedule. We are talking about, I found it. We have determined whether the Nauset school programs are sufficient and do we need to shift or make changes, and we have one program for all the elementary schools, so kids, the second step program, so kids who are coming up into the middle school all have the same type of experiences and the same language. We have done research on what other groups are doing in the Cape to help with the issues around substance behavior. We've made connections with other schools that have effective prevention. People have gone out to visit them. We've collaborated with town agencies and other departments. And we've had some informational programs available for parents and community members. And those were the first 5 things that the administrators picked for us. We've also established a button with a focus on assistance that's on our school website, the Nauset Public School website, for people who need support. We're continuing to work through this list and carrying on. We're now the Substance Abuse Mental Health Task Force, and we are considering changing our name one more time because it is the stigma attached with the term substance abuse really rankles some of us, so most of us on the committee.
So what are you going to change it to?
We're not sure. We'll discuss it at our next meeting. I'll let you know.
Just knock on my door.
I will. I'll leave you a note with chocolate.
Okay. Dark chocolate.
All right, thanks, Mark. Policy subcommittee update. So we're taking one policy back with us, and apparently we have some work to do on another one. So we'll be meeting at some point. Is that correct, Anne? I will make sure to check my Nauset email. Wellness.
Yeah,
We could-
I had something I just wanted to bring to your attention. Unfortunately, it costs money, but I think it would be good to let people know about this Fit to Be Kids. It subtitled Empowering Kids to Lead a Healthier, Wholesome Lifestyle. And it's a 6-week program down in Orleans that's out of Spalding. And it's a wonderful combination of not just exercise of all different kinds, but self-esteem building and nutrition and, just setting your goals and living with setbacks and all those good kinds of things. And I'm lucky enough to have as my physical therapist the gal who runs this, and she's an absolute delight. So somehow I was hoping we could.
It looks very familiar. I don't know if I saw it in my doctor's office.
They did it last year for the first time. This is
So
the
we could
second
put
year.
this in our
It's coming up
electronic
in the
backpack.
spring. That
Sure.
would be good. I
Thank
think
you.
it looks like a wonderful program.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jan. All right, future agenda items?
Well, it's not a future agenda item, I should have mentioned this before. Tomorrow night, I'll be presenting to the Finance Committee budget. I forgot to mention it
Oh,
before.
what?
In
What time? What?
7 o'clock at Council on Aging.
Okay.
Okay.
I just got clarification from Fred McGee today that they do expect me there.
Great. Try to be there.
You want to come?
I want to be there, yeah.
I'd like to hear their reaction.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
See if we have to head anything off.
We
Try
can
to do
applaud
that.
when you finish.
Okay. Bring flowers.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Future agenda items?
Well, we do have to talk about the buses again. Yeah. And it would be.
This is Thursday, March 5th, so we might have some information about the playground
What?
forum too.
Mm.
Okay.
Next steps or whatever, right?
Yeah, just whatever,
Right.
yeah, what sticks out. All
I won't be at the March 10th meeting, and I don't think Tom will be either.
I
Right?
don't know. I don't know.
You guys
Where-
going on vacation together?
What's taking me to Cabo? We're be totally straight with everybody. We're getting started late with this negotiations.
Yeah.
And all the unions are going forward. And so we're looking at a pretty aggressive schedule, and we're saying this season, with 20-plus people at the table, we have to keep moving, and if a
Yeah.
couple of people have to miss, they have to miss. But we're gonna be going into a Saturday meeting to follow up on a meeting the same night as this meeting next month, to try and keep moving. I think we're gonna be able to get done in a few meetings,
Yeah.
but we're getting late. And we got all the other bargaining units to do as well, so.
I feel badly for the fact, though, that it was not the school system's fault per
Yep.
se. So, you know, I understand you want to get it done, but to be rushed in a way that doesn't satisfy what you want,
Yeah.
I think is a mistake.
I
I
don't feel that
I
we're
don't think
being
we
rushed.
won't be
in that way.
rushed.
No. We're just talking about let's have more meetings rather than, we're not
Yeah.
feeling rushed.
Okay.
So that's what the situation is. Yep, I agree.
How about Lee? You'll be there too.
You going to Cabo too then?
No, he's not going.
That's why we need the long-term sub.
Yes.
Is school vacation next week?
Yes, it is.
Wow,
I
how'd that
know.
happen?
I know.
It's early
flies.
this year, I think.
100-day Valentine's Day vacation.
It's a really busy week.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Approval of minutes?
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Wait, when, the COA is tomorrow night? Did you remember?
For the FinCom.
FinCom is tomorrow night, 7:00 for the FY '21 budget presentation for Wes.
Is it just us?
No, the
No.
region too.
No, I meant, but that's it, not the fire department.
And the
or-
library will be there too.
Okay.
We're, I believe, first on
Great.
the agenda.
And we're gonna be talking about the building project as well. They wanna hear about the building project. So.
Great.
I invited my son for dinner, and I have to uninvite him for dinner.
Again, an amazing recap of the meeting, huh?
Yes, thank you, Anne. These minutes are always exemplar.
Betsy, the thing you have to write at the end,
I don't have to write it. I
No, no,
choose to
but
write it.
the question is, my question is, does he read it? Should we keep doing it?
Well, it's
But
not
if-
him. He sends it to the select.
Okay, so, but I think it should be just
Really
simple direction. The principal proposed the budget and we discussed and approved it. We discussed the buses, period. Don't,
I can only write what I can write. If you don't, if you guys want to vote for me
No,
not
not
to write it anymore,
criticizing
you
you.
can. No, I'm not taking criticism, but I can't write things that like don't have clarity or.
okay.
If I'm gonna write a newsletter, then I want to inform people. That's my.
It's not a newsletter.
It is. It goes into his newsletter,
Well.
which then goes to the. So I don't know. I mean, that's just the way it was,
I'm just saying.
and I do appreciate your support around it.
I'm just saying.
I hear you. And I will not write that much this time because I feel like Okay,
Keep
so
it
did I
simple.
hear something about the minutes, a motion, or,
No, it's just that they're
I
really
move
good.
that we accept the minutes.
okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mort. All in favor of those minutes?
Aye.
I will let you know that I've already paid the bills,
Wow.
and,
Great.
so do I have a motion for adjourn?
I'm gonna show you something.
I move that
Oh,
we
I'm-
adjourn because Mort's very busy.
Thank you, Jan. Do we have a second?
I
She
second.
prompted you and you
All
didn't
right.
take it.
Yeah, right.
Meeting is adjourned.